we're talking cop stuff with our guest today, Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. I'm Ben Dryden, and you're listening to DrydenWire Live. Quick programming note. We had mental health professional Darren Cox on yesterday on our show. That can be viewed on our website, Facebook, or our YouTube page. Tomorrow I'll be chatting with Sawyer County Judge John Yackel. Spooner Superintendent Dr. David Aslan will be my guest on Thursday. And Friday, we do have a change on Friday. Cherie Link was scheduled to be my guest, but has graciously, thank you very much, Cherie, agreed to move to Monday morning so I can welcome in a special guest. So again, thank you, Cherie, for being flexible and understanding. Reminder, you can watch all of our live chats this week on Facebook at 8:30 in the morning, or a recording of our chats on our website or on our YouTube channel. All right. Well, let's get right to our guest here. I think I see him on. There you are. Chris Fitzgerald. How are you, man?
Good. Good morning.
How are things going?
Awesome.
Are you being sarcastic?
That's right. We're not supposed to use one word. Yes, I watched yesterday's show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Good.
Yeah, I know. So, but who's this guest on Friday?
Oh, I'm not going to announce that. I'm not going to. Yeah, here. I'll text it to you.
You'll text me?
Yeah, hold on.
But I can't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
How do you know I can keep it secret?
You're a politician.
We're all trusting.
There.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited, but I don't want to. I don't want to jinx it. So
You don't jinx it.
that's why I think I'll announce a special guest on Friday, maybe like Friday.
I just talked to him at a gas station not too long ago.
What? I want to hear that story after this.
Yeah.
I want to hear that. All right, so we want to talk some cop stuff here.
Let's talk cop stuff.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I looked at the booking. I'm going to be putting the booking reports up because I do this on Tuesdays from all the 6 counties. And I was getting ready for it this morning, but I ran out of time, so I'll do it after the show. But I looked at yours, and I think it was 8 people on the booking report list in Barron County. You have 45,000 people. You usually have like 40, anywhere from 30 to 50 people in a week. So I assume that is because,
Yeah, there's no question. Our calls have dropped off tremendously, and it's everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing is what I think is happening out there. At least I hope that's what's happening. But yeah, our calls have dropped to almost half of what we normally do on a day, and so we're that's a really good sign for us. And from a law enforcement standpoint, one, it doesn't put our officers in danger. It doesn't fill up our jails in this time that we've put some different jail restrictions in, and that means people are staying home.
Okay.
So we're concerned about the domestics going up. Our people we've prepared our staff for that, but with the weather that we're having, I think we'll be okay. I think people can go for a walk when they get frustrated or they get cooped up a little too much, and they can go outside and go for a walk. So
Sure.
Having to stay home doesn't mean you have to stay in your house. I mean, there's 2 different philosophies here. Everybody's like lockdown, and it's not a lockdown. It's just, hey, stay home, stay with your family, but you can go outside, you can go for a walk, you can yell at your neighbor. I mean, yell at him nice things.
Nice. I saw the call log. It's every 12 hours, and even that was only like 4 pages this morning.
Yeah, it's been really
well. I was curious because I wanted to look to see through. I know that there has been from law enforcement kind of encourage people don't call to find out where you can and can't go. Don't call 911 for that information. So I just kind of was skimming through to see if you were getting those calls, and at least this morning I didn't notice any. So are you getting those calls still, or people they get where to go?
Yeah, well, some people are calling us and saying, hey, there's some people from Minnesota that are here.
I see that.
I don't know what to do with that. I mean, I get it. There's a travel advisory out, but we can't stop people at the border from coming into their town. You can't stop people from coming to the houses that they own. A lot of people own houses in Barron County, Washburn County, wherever it is. Yeah. And we just can't stop people from going to their homes. They own them, they rent them, whatever it is. There's a travel advisory out, but people can go to their homes. Yeah. It says stay home. Well, my home is, I get it, but we can still go to the grocery store. We can still go to the parks. You can still go a few places. So it's not a complete travel ban that like people want it to be. For the most part, people are staying home, and I can't thank people enough for that. For the most part, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We get very few calls on that. We are getting a few. There's a few people that say, oh, my business is still open, we're not essential. You know what? You're just a piece of the pie sometimes. And sometimes you make a part that's for a different part that goes to something that's going on in California. And so your part is essential to making the world go around.
Sure.
And we have a lot of business and factories in Northwest Wisconsin that are instrumental to what happens globally. Look at businesses like Racing Weighing and how global they are. And their little piece of the pie here is very instrumental to something else going on. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are instrumental and that are staying open. I've met with our Walmart, our Marketplace, Coburn's and Rice Lake. Both are stocked back up. The only thing they can't keep out is the toilet paper. We're still hoarding that for some reason. But for the most part, all of our grocery stores are stocked with everything you need, so you can just go in and buy your essentials. When you do go to the store, we want you just to go with one or maybe two people to help you. We don't need to take the whole family and go on an outing.
Right.
As much fun as it would be to go with your whole family out of the house, you just can't.
Yep.
We have to do this for 30-ish more days. It's the end of March. Tomorrow's the 1st of April. We need to do this for 30 more days. We can do this. Why we've gone through a lot tougher things. Pretend it's a 30-day snow day and we'll be fine. It's just the weather's nice. We can go outside. But you know what? We just got to limit some of our activities. And that's all we're asking you to do for 30 more days. Hopefully, it'll be over in 30 more days, or at least we can get back to some normalcy. I'm not saying the schools are going to open back up and we're going to just go party like it's 1999. But we just got to go out and make good choices for 30 days and lower the curve.
That toilet paper thing I still don't get. I get why people are going for it because it's a snowball effect, right? One does it and it's like, well, that's stupid. Right. Well, maybe I should go get some of that. And if everybody else is doing it, then I should do it, and then they all do it. And I asked my wife when this all started, I don't know, are we okay in toilet paper and essentials? And she said, I grew up extraordinarily poor. You never knew if you were going to have another paycheck, even when she was younger. And she said, I shop every week like it's going to be Armageddon tomorrow, like the whole world shut down, because you just never know what's going to happen. So she has, every time she shopped over the last 3 years, take an extra $20, get some more of something, So thankfully, we're pretty stocked up. Right. I mean, we could probably, it's like a nuclear bomb shelter there. We could probably survive for 3 months. Right. Listen, Dad had a question already. Let's see if I can find it. At some point, making an arrest requires hands-on by deputies. Hard to stay a distance suggested by social distancing. How do you deal with those circumstances?
We still go hands-on. We still are enforcing the laws. We're still arresting people. We're still pulling people over. We got an OWI 5th over the weekend. Excuse me. He must have got drunk at home and then drove around. I don't know how, because there's no bars open.
No kidding.
I don't know how that happened, but he did it. And yes, we are still going hands-on. But we have gloves, we have masks, we have shields, we have, if we get into a different scene, we have stuff that can cover our uniform. We have a disinfectant. We have everything that we need to keep our officers and deputies safe. So yes, the laws are still being enforced. It's not a free-for-all out there. We're still doing building checks. We're doing a lot of places are closed. We're doing a lot more building checks and making sure our businesses are safe that are closed. But we're still doing everything that law enforcement has done. But we do change some of our things in our jail. We have a lot more people out on electronic monitor. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah. Electronic monitor. So our jail has changed a little bit, and we're just kind of going with the flow.
Okay. You had brought up domestics, and I'd seen from Embrace, who they're rock stars.
Yeah. Right.
That I think they had messaged, but I think we even ran a post about it, and obviously I followed their page on Facebook. Have you seen an increase because people are at home in those situations?
Yeah, no, it's been very impressive. We have not. I mean, we expect that as this goes a little bit longer, it gets a little tighter in some of these homes, but The weather is cooperating with us. It's not February, so we're not all stuck inside. So the weather is to our advantage, and it looks like it will be for most of April as we look forward. And people can go outside. They can go hang out in their garage. They can do a lot of different things. It's not freezing cold outside. So, no, we have not. Everybody in Barron County, and I can only speak for Barron County, has done a great job of staying strong. And they're doing a lot of cool things out there. Speaking of Embrace, tomorrow is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we're all signing pledges here at the Sheriff's Department. When someone tells you they've been raped or sexually assaulted, I pledge to start by believing. And so that's a thing we're doing with Embrace. The world still has to go on, and so our Embrace ladies are starting Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we're starting by signing the pledges, and so there's other things that need to continue on with all of this going around. And so they have done some great programming. They have a great support line. Any questions that anybody has on the coronavirus or CB-19, they can call 211. That's just a regular number to get information out there, and that's the number we want to get out there to for people to stay positive and have their questions answered.
Go back to that thing that you were just talking about. You said sign pledges. Who's signing pledges?
All of our deputies.
Okay, so it's for law enforcement.
Not every single one of them, but there's a thing that says my name is.
Put it in front of the camera.
Put it in front of the camera.
Oh, there we go.
There.
Oops, someone tells me that.
When someone tells me they were sexually assaulted, or I pledge to start believing them. And that's what we're doing starting in April.
Okay.
So we're working with some of our deputies today. I think our canine coda is going to sign one.
When you do the paw print, you use the stuff you use for fingerprints?
Yeah, yep.
Do you really?
Oh, well, I don't know if we'll use that. Well, we might just sign his name and he'll take a picture.
Well, that's no
he
fun.
likes having his picture taken.
So now, of course, with this stay-at-home or safer-at-home, from a Barron County Sheriff's Office standpoint, from a sheriff actually, or the Sheriff's Office, what have you had to do to adapt?
I had to cancel a lot of meetings, so I'm home every night.
Well, that's nice. So when you cancel those meetings, I mean, do you still have meetings, or is it like via email, or using Zoom?
Well, we're starting to use Zoom. I wish I owned stock in Zoom before this, because everything is Zoom now.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll probably never leave my office again because Zoom is so great.
Yeah,
It is the way to. It's a way for families to connect. It's a way for meetings to go on. A lot of our meetings have been canceled. They're starting to pick up. I have one today that's going to be met by Zoom. We have a sheriff conference call at 10 o'clock by phone. We're doing a lot of different things. When you do this in your office, there's a lot of things you don't realize you had on. But that's the thing with Zoom that you're learning about. I had to put a sign on my door saying, "Hey, I'm doing a live interview. Just don't come knocking and ask me how my night was." But so we're doing a lot of things by Zoom, like things like this that we used to drive up, and this is saving me some time. I don't have to drive to Spooner to meet with you. I don't mind it, but it's just another hour of my day that I get back without drive time.
Yep, exactly.
And
so are some of these things that you're doing right now in 3 months, 6 months, whenever we're back to quote unquote normal, because you've kind of been forced to do Zoom, forced to do remote meetings, you've had to be a little more innovative on how your processes right now. Are any of these things, when you go back to, are you going to go back to all those old things, or are there some of the things that you're doing right now, we're going to probably just keep using some of these. We're going to implement these going forward. We should have been doing these all the time. We just never had to, or didn't even know how to.
I think that's one thing we're going to learn from this. One is there's some positive things I want to talk about in just a minute, but you're exactly right. A lot of these things we're going to go back and keep doing the way we're doing them right now, even though we're back to normal and I can travel wherever I want to in a month or a month and a half, whatever it is. But we will get through this. There's an end date to this. I know sometimes it gets extended, but there is an end date to this, and we have to just keep holding out hope and realizing it. But yes, I don't know that I'll ever come up and do a next to you interview again when we can do them these so easy. I mean, you called me 5 minutes before, I hit 2 buttons and we're live.
Yeah.
And it just works out good for me. I don't have to wait 30 minutes to drive up there and 30 minutes back. I can go to another meeting that starts at 9:30 here. I don't have to say, I can't be there till 10. I'm driving back after after my interview. But these are important. I love doing these with you. You know that.
Yeah.
I just, I want to be your number one. I know Romaine was on, and there was a little contest between us, but I
and
ain't
to
gonna
be
beat
clear,
him.
there really wasn't a contest. It was just.
Well, let's be clear. It was a contest. I wish him well. I thank him for all the support over the years and all the things he's done for Northwest Wisconsin. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. He was there for a lot of things that he did with us, so I appreciate everything he's done and the support he gave to our meth efforts across the state because of people like him and Janet. Our meth. Northwest Wisconsin was heard when it came to the meth issue. So that's a big feather in Romaine's hat that he did. I know he did a lot of other things, but from a sheriff's department standpoint, that's one thing he did really well for us. So I appreciate that.
Were you surprised?
Oh, yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, me too, actually. You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're joking.
That's right.
Because, I just assumed that, what else are you going to do? Right. And he's done it so well, and he has respect for a lot of people. Not everyone, but you're a politician. You're never going to have the respect of everyone just because of, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I was pretty surprised by it, actually. Yeah.
Right.
All right. You said you had some other talking points there.
Yeah, I do. There's been a lot of good things. I know it's a tough time right now, but there's been so many great things, and I got a list of them that we share some of these on our Facebook page. Our public health and our public health department here in Barron County, and all the public health departments need a very big kudos for everything they've done and they have been doing, and they continue to do. Barron County, Washburn County still have 0 cases. That's bound to change as we test more people. So just because you get a positive test doesn't mean the sky's falling, okay? It doesn't mean that. But our county health workers, our public health, Laura Savi's ours. She's got a team behind her from our human services standpoint. They're just doing a great job of everything that they've been doing. But we're sharing a lot of that stuff. But there's been so many positive things in the community that it's really special that what everybody's been doing. And this is an uncertain time, but the positive things that people are doing to keep us strong, to keep us together. This is one thing. It's not like I'm going through something bad and you're not. We're all everybody feels the exact same way in the whole nation right now.
Yeah. We
all feel the same way. It's not like I'm going through it and, whatever it is. But so we're very strong and together we can get through this. But, there's kids making things on sidewalks. So when you go out for a walk, there's all these sidewalks out there that are painted. I mean, that's just really cool. And now there's people putting things in windows, whether it's hearts or bears. And so when you take your kids around the block and you're like, let's look for all the bears in the windows. And, it's just people are making masks. I know there's a shortage of PPE equipment. We're okay right now in Northwest Wisconsin, but there's people gearing up because we'll probably have a little spike here. There's local businesses that have cleaned out all of their shelves and all of their gloves and all of their masks and anything else that they can give us and donated it to both law enforcement, fire, EMS. The schools these teachers have been doing an unbelievable job of everything that they've been doing and teaching our kids in a hard situation. So we're all learning that our teachers are trying to do as best they can. They're creating new and innovative ways. The musicians, these concerts, Chris Cruzy put on a concert. There was some kid in Chautauqua just started singing on the street and people were honking as they drove by. I mean, the smiles that we are putting on people's faces are phenomenal. Our libraries, our Boys and Girls Club, our Boys and Girls Club of Barron County just went to an innovative or interactive online Boys and Girls Club. So now you can do all this stuff that the Boys and Girls Club you normally do there, you can do it online. So it's some little fun things. Our libraries are reading stories online. We have Andy Jondro from the Rice Lake Police Department. He's doing a book every other day in some part of the city.
It's book?
Just little things.
He's doing a book?
It's just he's reading a book.
Reading a book. Okay.
He's not writing one.
Man, he does it every other day.
Yeah. So he reads a kid's book around town because he's the school officer for the Rice Lake School District.
Okay.
Everybody is chipping in. There's so much good that's going on that it doesn't feel like it's bad. I mean, and we're lucky again in Northwest Wisconsin. We're a little bit different than Milwaukee. I watched an interview with the Milwaukee police chief last night where he said, you know what, we're going to lock down a little bit more. We have to be a little tighter. Or in Northwest Wisconsin, we don't have to be because we got a lot more space to go out. We can walk in our we can walk around the block and really not see anybody. Well, if you do that in Milwaukee or Madison, you're going to run into people, and you can't be doing that. So we're blessed to be in Northwest Wisconsin. I've said that 100 times, probably 1,000 times in my career as sheriff. We're very blessed to be where we live. And one, it's we can be safer at home and still be able to go out. But when you go out, just be smart about where you're going and what you're doing.
Sure. Have you taken calls from people who expect you to be policing this stay-at-home order?
Mm-hmm. Yes, people do want us to enforce that order verbatim, and I think we are for the most part.
Where do you draw the line? When do you say, that's not my... Because I know you touched on this at the beginning of the show here, but are there times, what it's, we're not going to do that. Do you say that on certain situations?
We do when the order isn't so vague. I mean, the order is as best that we can do without limiting people's rights. And I think that's what the governor tried to do. He tried to create something that would help solve this or flatten the curve, but yet give some people that they're not stuck in their house for the next 30 days or 60 days or whatever it is. Yeah. And so I think there's a happy medium. Yes, Minnesota has the same thing. You shouldn't be driving from Minnesota over to Wisconsin. We're asking you to self-quarantine if you come to your cabin for 14 days, not go to our stores. But the reality is they own that property. They have a right to be at that property. How I read it, now maybe that will change in the next 5 days, 10 days. This is a very fluid situation. It changes all the time. But for the most part, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing in Northwest Wisconsin. There's always a few, but if there wasn't always a few in doing something wrong, I wouldn't have a job in law enforcement. So, everybody's always doing something wrong. That's why law enforcement is such a needed thing. But one last thing on some of the good things is our restaurants are doing a lot of good takeouts. A lot of people are supporting our restaurants and our people that work in these restaurants. And so really that's neat, and they're doing a lot of neat things, giving away some food and different things out there. And I think the governor could have just said shut down, no drive-ups, and he allowed us to do that because it's still okay to go get your food. Just keep washing your hands, keep your distance, that social distancing, and just stay at home. We will get through this. There will be a summer. Don't worry. It's not going to extend that long, but we're going to need to do this a minimum of 30 more days. And so the month of April is going to be a little tighter. But you know what? You got to do those projects, all those projects you said. When I get more time, I've said this 100 times to people.
Now you have it.
Now you have it. You literally have the time. So we're always doing those projects around your house. So when summer hits, we can go out and enjoy it with our families and our friends. Our friends are never going to be more important than this summer when we haven't been able to see them and be with them. But you can still call them on the phone. You can still Skype with them. You can still Zoom with them. You can still do however you want, Facebook with them. But you need to take a break from some of that stuff once in a while. The news and Facebook can drive you crazy. And so you can't live by Facebook. You can't live by the news. You really have to take care of yourself in a situation like this. If you're feeling stressed, then you have to get off Facebook and get away from the news and just go read a book or sit in your backyard or do whatever. Yeah,
I know there's been a lot of, we've always said, and I think you have agreed with this in the past, that always consider the source. So it isn't necessarily that something on Facebook isn't accurate, but consider the source. If it's just a post from a person, it's not from the New York Times or a legitimate news outlet, if it's just one of those weird places, I don't know. Because I've even seen, and we've had to take a lot of questions from people of people falsely stating that there were people that were diagnosed positive in our area. Right. And then that just gets spread, and then that just creates this panic, and it's like, stop. I mean, jeepers, look at who was the one who did this. And if you don't know these people, then be careful of what you read. But I agree with you. Sometimes you just have to shut down. My business is being on, news. My business is being in front of my computer. But even I've had to just take like an hour a day and just say, that's it. I'm turning my phone off. I'm turning my computer off, and I just need to do something else. Right. Because it just gets too much sometimes. And unfortunately, and I did make a mistake. You had mentioned that people are they're doing things at home that now that they have time. My wife is working from home, and she's also unplugging for like an hour. I came home the other day, and half our kitchen was painted. And she just got finished painting it like a few months ago. But she found an extra can of paint, which that's my fault. Hopefully she's not watching the show. I tend to throw out all the paint, so we don't have these situations where she just randomly starts painting things. But I missed one, so now our kitchen's half painted.
Right. Yeah, well, now you're going to need another half a can.
No. Yeah, and thankfully she can't go to the store, but that's all right. So what are you personally doing? You said now with Zoom and a lot of these meetings, they must have been at night, and now you're doing them differently. So I'm assuming they're canceled meetings or you're doing them in the daytime. But what do you do when you go home at night now that you have a little more time at home?
Yeah. Well, I've cleaned my garage. I went for a walk. We make a lot more suppers together as a family, and I think that's been fun. My kids want to go different places, and you have to bring them in for 30 more days. You have to bring them in and just say, you know what? Play your Xbox a little bit more, give a little bit more freedom when it comes to stuff like that. My daughter's still working her drive up. She works at a coffee shop. That drive up is still open. So she's been able to work.
Well, yeah, because let's face it, that's an essential. Coffee. I'm sorry, it just is. They are essential employees. They have to be the absolute last thing. Right before law enforcement, there's going to be baristas, man. No kidding.
Yeah. And they're all taking precautions. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I feel she's safe when she's there. They've done everything they can, and so I appreciate all those employers taking care of their employees as best they can. It's a difficult time. It's unknown. There wasn't a playbook out there for law enforcement, for businesses, for the government on this CV-19. This is all brand new to us. We can fight fires and do a lot of different things, and but the message it's all new. So when we have a message, we appreciate it. We use that in the Kloss case a lot. If it didn't come from this podium where I was standing, it wasn't true.
Yep.
We have to go with that, and your public health departments are your answer. They have all the answers. But again, there's not a playbook, so we're some things change from tomorrow to today, and we'll change again tomorrow back to where they were or different again. So there's so much good in this, and I don't want to dwell on the bad and it's 30 more days. It's 30 more days of being home with my kids. I have a senior in high school. I really want him to go back to school. I don't know if that's going to happen. I just don't know that answer. I wish I did for her and for all of our seniors. But I get 30 more days with her and to hang out with her and to spend some more time. And, we've got to, we can't, hunker down, and we can't let this fear overtake the good things that are sitting right in front of us. So we're not going to let fear win. We are Barron County strong. We've used that before. We continue to be Wisconsin strong, whatever you want to call it. But there's so much good that's right in front of you that we just have to enjoy for 30 days, and then we'll be a lot better.
Yeah, the things that people are coming up with to do during this is just great. I mean, that's actually a good part about Facebook and Instagram, seeing what everybody is coming up with, and everyone's watching movies or what they're doing. It's been actually, in a weird way, I am actually seeing more positive things on Facebook now than probably ever before.
Right. I would agree with you.
I didn't think I'd ever say that. Now, if you do want to just go, if you do miss all the crazy on Facebook, just go to Twitter, because that place, wow, there's a lot of very angry people on Twitter all the time. Nothing good is ever said on Twitter. At least I haven't seen anything, not one.
Right. But you're right about that. There is a lot of positive out there, and I think that's what's pretty special about this, and that's what I mean. You just can't let this fear of this unknown, it's an unknown only because there's not an end date. It wouldn't be an unknown if there wasn't an end date. Right now, we're going to look at, the 24th to the 30th of April, somewhere in that. The governor's either going to have to change his order or the order will cease and desist. If we can flatten the curve by then, I can see him letting some things slowly go back to normal. But we have to really flatten the curve, and we haven't seen a spike in it. Our hospitals are doing good for right now, but if people stay home, they won't get overrun by this. So, but there is some lines out there to help you with some of those fears. It's called, you can text 66746. It's Talk With Us. There's a 1-800 number. That's all on our Facebook page. It's on our public health pages. If you're feeling overwhelmed, frightened, there's people out there that want to talk to you. If you're in a domestic, our people from Embrace have a line out there. They are answering it still. They'll take care of all your problems. So let's get out there together, do a lot of positive things. We can really bring a community together. I've seen it. I've felt it over the years, from tornadoes to missing kids. I've seen it. I believe in it. I know we can do it. I know sometimes it seems silly, but man, I've seen some great things in my career. I've seen bad things, but I've seen a lot more good things. And this is one thing we'll never forget, but we can make a lot of good out of this. And that's what I wanted today to be about, and not be about just being able to stay home. We can check on our neighbors. You can call them. Call all those people that you said, man, I wish I knew where some old friend was. Send them a text message.
Well, I only had one question I forgot to ask. It's literally the only question I wrote down. When it comes to anything from law enforcement, what conversations do you have? Boy, let me start over. Because our counties are kind of, uniquely linked here in Northwest Wisconsin, Barron, Washburn, Polk, Gwinnett, we're all just a stone's throw away.
Right.
Has there been discussions in law enforcement? I don't know what kind of discussions that you have with other departments, or if you're talking to anyone in the governor's office, but if something came down from a law enforcement standpoint, that what you're supposed to do, is that going to be specific to a Barron County, or is that something that's going to be universal?
No, it's going to be specific to your county. We can do what we want to do here.
Okay, and then how, in those, and I don't necessarily want to get into theory, but just out of curiosity, when that happens, because people do drive from, since we're so close in proximity, and there are essential work, people that live in one county and go somewhere else, and I'm sure there'd be exceptions, but how do you really enforce that in one county when you have, and not just in neighboring counties, but just people driving through? How does that work?
It's going to be tough. I mean, I don't think we're going to get to that point. I don't see that in our horizon, only because people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, if they say, oh, it's 60 degrees today, I'm going to go have a cookout with my neighbors, then we're going to start to see some issues. But I think there is law enforcement agencies in some of these bigger cities that are cracking down a little bit tighter than we have to in Northwest Wisconsin. I don't think in Washburn and Barron. But if a bunch of people show up at the Shell Lake Beach today and start swimming, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, good luck, Dave Wilson.
Say the beach. Yeah, good luck, Wilson.
I think I saw something this morning on the news, or maybe I put it up on our headline links, that a city, I don't know, it's New York, I don't remember where it is now. It's in the East Coast where they're really getting hit with this. I think they've even said that it's 30 days in jail now if you're out. But that's a city that, they're getting hit hard.
Right, and we're only because people are staying home, we're not getting hit hard. I'm not saying we're not going to get hit hard, but if people stay home, we're going to be okay. And it's 14 days of being quarantined, and I just don't want to be 14 days of being sick on the couch. I can't have contact with anybody in my family. I mean, they got to put food at the top of the stairs where you sit in the basement and try to get better, and your breathing is labored. I mean, it's just not a fun thing. So we've got to stay home. We've got to, I went for a walk last night. I talked to some friends that were on their porch. I didn't go in their house. From the street, we talked to each other for 5 minutes, and I kept walking. It made them feel good. It made me feel good. Let's just keep doing stuff like that. Awesome. We're really getting to know our neighbors. I think that's what's really been special out of this too, is you get to know your neighbors. They're outside because they came outside when the sun came out, and you're like, hey, neighbor, how's it going?
Now, you may get to know them and find out that you don't like them, but at least you get to know them.
Right. And right now, we like everybody because human contact is human contact.
Yeah, we'll take anything at this point. I don't care.
Even a bad neighbor. No. We all got good neighbors. So.
Oh, sure. You're such a politician. Hey, are you running for anything? Is it this year? No.
You're always running. It's always an election year when you're a sheriff.
Always an election year. Always an election. I got to write that down. I keep forgetting.
Always. So, no, I'm not running for election this year, but
awesome.
We're with governors in 2 years. So we'll have 2 years from November. So I got a long time yet, and I'm having fun. I enjoy it. I just want to be that for the people. I just want them to go out there and, have fun, stay positive, and, just, do something special for someone else, either by a text message, a phone, write it on the sidewalk in front of their house, just have a little fun. And there's so much good in the world right now that we got to enjoy it. That's right in front of us.
Well, and thank you as well for doing you and all your deputies and all law enforcement there in Barron County and other counties as well, certainly. For I mean, you still guys have to go to work, and there's a lot of concern from a lot of people. But thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And we're going to be doing these daily shows probably for a while now because nothing else to do. So in a few weeks, depending on how things play out, since we can now just do this remotely, we don't have to schedule it so far in advance. Interested in coming back on?
Always interested, and
you got to keep your number up because Romaine, you never know.
That's right. If he gets on, I'm on the next day.
Yeah, I think you're two or three up on him now, so we're good.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to your special guest on Friday. I think really should be fun, and let's have a little fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you to my guest today, Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. Thank you for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. on Facebook as we will be joined by Sawyer County Judge John Yackel. Until tomorrow, stay safe, keep your social distance, and have a